G'day everyone and welcome to another podcast, the Down Under Centre Migrating to Australia podcast. My name's Wes San and I'm joined by Jess Aumonier and Lisa. So ladies, welcome.
Hello. Hi guys.
So Jess, you are our special guest for this podcast and you've got a really cool story to tell. And it's interesting actually because I remember actually speaking to you guys about the AQF3 and everything else that was needed.
Yeah.
So Jared can get his painting and decorating AQF.
Mm-hmm.
That led to his skills assessment. Long story short, now you're living in North Brisbane.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to dig a little bit deeper and find out about your journey. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. All right, so let's start from the start. So whose idea was it to make the move to Oz?
It was a joint decision. But I think, I've always wanted to live somewhere other than the UK since I was very young. I'm very sort of free-spirited and independent, love travel. Jared, not so much, but I managed to convince him. We happened to meet a good friend one night back in our hometown in the UK who was an Aussie girl living over there as an au pair. Hit it off with her. And she ended up moving back to Australia a couple of years later, but we kept in touch. And came over here to visit a couple of times, fell in love with the country. And after our second visit here, which was 2018, I think, we decided to make the move. Well, I decided that we were going to make the move and it took a few months of convincing for Jared. But
how easy was it to convince him?
It took quite a long time because he's a real homebody. We got there in the end, and now actually, I don't think he would have it any other way. He's absolutely thriving over here. He loves it, so it all worked out well.
I reckon there's lots of ladies listening to this going, "Come on, Jess, tell us, give us some clues, give us some examples." We might have a few stubborn partners that aren't keen to make the move. But all right, so you thought about it. Then did you say you came to Australia in 2018?
We came in 2016, and then again in 2018.
Okay. And where did you visit at that point?
So mainly just around Brisbane, because that's where our friend was and her family and, friends that we'd made through her. At one point we travelled up the coast a bit up to the Whitsundays. We went on like a cruise up there, so we checked that out. But yeah, pretty much just kind of southeast Queensland. We haven't really kind of gone further afar yet.
Yeah, cool. All right, so 2018, you go back to the UK, and then at what point did you start the process with the Down Under Centre?
So we started that. I think we made the decision to move like early 2019, and I think I contacted you like mid 2019 or something like that. And I think so we then sort of got the ball rolling. Yeah, it would have been probably like summer 2019, I think.
You know what? I can actually tell you the exact date. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a little fun fact for everyone listening. I can tell you the exact day that I spoke to you was on the 20th. Oh, wow. Oh, no.
Was I right?
Kind of wow. 24th of the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2019.
Yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Yeah. 21st of the 7th. So I've got here just a few notes. Do not take on, bit crazy. No, you ticked all the boxes and everything like that. But yeah, there you go. There you go. Such a long time. He was only 34 at the time.
I know. Now he's nearly 40.
Correct. Born on the 2nd of the 9th. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, I know lots about you guys. Well, that's good. All right. So we had a conversation, everything like that. And your one's, I think people migrating without having a relevant qualification. When, just for the listeners out there, when you're migrating to Australia, the first thing you need to do is have an occupation on the skills list, and then each occupation has a skills assessing body. We are the skills assessing body for lots of occupations through TRA, Trades Recognition Australia, and TRA actually, for some occupations, have their own assessments. One of those assessments is for painters and trades workers. And at the time you did the assessment, Jess, to be eligible for that skills assessment, he needed to have a relevant qualification.
Yeah.
So instead of Jared going off and getting an NVQ level 3, it's a lot easier if he gets the Australian qualification via recognition of prior learning. So we arranged that. and
Yeah.
then he needed a minimum of 6 years full-time paid work experience
Yep.
to be eligible for the skills assessment. But we actually asked to get 11 years. Reason being is because we wanted to get as many points as we can for the visa.
That's
Now,
right.
if you've got a self-employed painter and decorator, were you assisting Jared with getting the documents, or did he do that himself? Because I would assume that would be pretty difficult to get 11 years of pay evidence for self-employed painter.
Oh God, yeah, I did all the hard work. Yes, it was me contacting HMRC and everything else and doing all the paperwork. I mean, he was busy doing all his kind of gathering his evidence and stuff for his skills assessment, like videos and photos and stuff. So yeah, I kind of did all the admin work.
Yeah, it's a lot. 11 years is so much. Obviously, we take the first 3 years for training, and then that could mean you guys could claim 8 years and get maximum points for work experience. So, yeah. All right. And the English test, how do you go with the English test?
Oh God, that English test. It's he did all right, actually. I think a lot of people are just, really nervous about it. And it is quite a sort of daunting thing, I think, having to do an English test as an adult so many years since you've done anything like that in school. But yeah, he did it the first time and passed, but he got like the lower.
Yeah, you got 10 points.
10 points, that's right. And he actually then redid it a few months later because we wanted to increase our points. So he did manage to do that in the end, and got the next, is it 20 points after that? I can't remember.
100%. Yeah, you got superior English. You got 20 points. I'm looking at his points right now as we speak. He actually applied for, what visa did you end up getting for? The 190 or the 491?
Yeah, no, the 190.
The 190. So you actually had 75 points for a 190, which is really good. So without that English test and him sticking on with the lower score, you only would have had 65 points.
Yeah.
We did a podcast just the other day, Jess, with South Australia government, and it was awesome because what they were saying was when they give invites, they're really looking at the English test because they want the people when arriving in South Australia to have good English to be able to communicate, to get better jobs, and to I forget the word he used, but it was like more to contribute to the state.
Yeah.
So those people that are doing an English test, if you can go out there and give it another crack like Jared did.
Yeah. It seems crazy because we're coming from an English speaking country, but yeah, I mean, if it gets your points up, then do it. Absolutely.
It is, and that's the benefit, I guess, if people are coming from English speaking countries, you have got that advantage. Now, your last name, it's got to be French, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
My ancestry is French, but yes, it is French.
So imagine being a French first language and trying to do an English test. It's like to get a superior English would be very difficult.
Very difficult
to do it. Yeah. So people from the UK and Ireland, a few other countries, when we chat with them, Jess, they're always like, "Oh, but I've been told I don't need to do an English test." Well, technically, that's correct. They may not need to do an English test for the purpose of a visa, but claiming points for the visa. And now knowing that some of the states really look at that, you're mad if you don't do it. So it is challenging, especially for the trades. Was his mindset at this point, you're right, yeah, we're going to start smashing it? Because he had to do a lot of work for the AQF and obviously the English. At this point, when he did the English test, was he really sold, or was he still dragging his heels a bit on Australia?
Oh no, I think he was sold by this point. I think we both agreed, like, we weren't going to start the process unless we were both 100% on board. So yeah, no, he was sold on it by this point. So he was raring to go.
So Jess, 2019. So you're going to be like the other podcast. I don't want to bore everyone with the same stories about COVID and obviously like that, but you were affected by it. How were you affected by COVID in the process?
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's so frustrating. Obviously, as you say, we made the decision to start the migration process mid-2019, and it was all going really smoothly. And Jared did his English test. He was getting stuck into gathering all his, video evidence for his skills assessment. And we figured, there's no rush. We'll just leisurely get through it all. And we genuinely expected to have our visa grant within about 18 months, and be on our way. And then, of course, February 2020, everything changed and COVID hit. And I think at that time, I don't think anyone knew the severity of the situation and how it would impact life in general, let alone, the visa process. As the world just started shutting down, we just kind of ground to a halt and just kind of existed in limbo, really, not being able to proceed with anything. Thankfully, we had managed to get the skills assessment out of the way beforehand. So we were then
that's a big deal.
So we were at the point of waiting to put in our EOI. So yeah, it was just months and months and months of, sitting on our hands, not being able to do anything or move forward, which was pretty, excruciating. And, everything was just also up in the air, and there was no firm answers from anyone. And obviously, of course, as well as this, absolutely everyone that we knew was always asking, so what's going on with Australia? Are you still moving to Australia?
Oh yeah, the world's best questions. Everyone thinks how easy it is.
I know. We're like, well, no, the world has shut down. So
we haven't moved yet during the pandemic, or
So I think everyone just thought that we were talking nonsense, and that we weren't actually ever going to leave. But eventually, after what felt like a lifetime, we finally then were able to submit an EOI. I can't remember quite when that was. But it was a long time of waiting, of just nothingness. So it was really, really difficult.
It was on the 11th of the 5th, 2020.
There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, it wasn't as long as I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but they were long, dark days. Let's be honest.
They were. Yeah.
Days turned into weeks, into months, but really it felt like
So it was like 5 months or so of us kind of just literally not knowing what was going on, which was it was really hard.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, you're here now. So let's talk about this. So it's yourself and Jared. You're both sort of, you've been to Oz a couple of times. You went there. Where did you start living when you arrived in Queensland?
Where we are now. We
straight into the rental.
Yeah, we came straight here. We ended up, we are living in a suburb called Morayfield, which is, kind of far north Brisbane. And it's quite a good base, really. It's kind of midway between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, where I actually work twice a week in the office up there. So it's quite nice. And our friends are kind of really close by. They're kind of all within sort of 10K. So that's the main reason we ended up in this area specifically. So yeah, because we kind of knew the area, and of course we knew people here. So, having that kind of support circle was important.
Yeah, no, it's good. So what do you like doing? Like, so before you came to Brizzy, were you saying to you, because I think we're mates on Facebook, and you're constantly you're very active. I see that. You're always out and about doing things. So what was your target when you came out here? What sort of things did you want to change in your lifestyle, or maybe not so much change, but there's obviously reasons why you wanted to come to Oz. What were they, and have you done it?
Yeah, well, I think we're kind of, we're in the process of doing it. Obviously, we've only been here like 9 months, which seems like such a short amount of time, but it also feels like a really long time. It's weird. But we don't have kids. We didn't have a mortgage back in the UK. And we just, we wanted some adventure. We wanted change. We wanted better weather. Of course, everyone wants better weather. We wanted, to be able to earn more, which we can here. The salaries generally are higher for both of our professions. And just generally a better way of life, just a bit more slow paced and kind of not so stressful. And to be out and about more.
Is it slower paced and not so stressful?
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
And Are you earning more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're earning more, it's less stressful. And what about activity wise and all that? Like, I assume you're doing a lot more than what you were. Where was UK home to you?
So we were in Oxfordshire in the Cotswolds, which is a really beautiful area of the UK. We didn't really get out and about and do too much outdoorsy stuff, really, just purely because of the weather and, and things like that. So we're definitely more active here.
Sorry, going back, I think I went there once in the UK. Is it like, do you have like national parks there with like little donkeys and horses and all that roam free?
Possibly. Yeah.
We went camping there once, and we left the food out, and we're used to koalas and kangaroos doing it. But wherever I was, all these like weird little, weird small horses and ponies and all that just started rustling through our food at night. It was pretty funny, actually. But then
the badgers and foxes as well.
No, we opened the tent up and they came down with it the next day. They were like all these horses.
So funny.
Anyway, if anyone's listening, just do a little message and let us know where I'm talking about. This is a long time ago, but anyway, back to you.
Where was I? No. So yeah, we definitely do get out a bit more here. There's just more to do, more to keep yourself busy. I really enjoy outdoorsy stuff, like kind of hiking. We've got a dog as well, so I love finding new dog walking routes. And, we both like the beach. So that's really lovely to have, a beach close by, because being in Oxfordshire in the UK, we're kind of landlocked, almost like right in the middle of the country. So it was quite
How close to the beach are you, Jess?
I think our closest beach is like 15 minutes, maybe.
Is that 15 or 50?
15,
Okay,
20,
cool.
yeah, so not far at all. We're very close to Bribie Island. We were actually there yesterday, which has got some stunning beaches and, dog beaches as well, which is great. So we can take the dog. So yeah, it's a real novelty.
I was chatting to another person who lives in Queensland, and they, one of our relocation agents, Tanya at the time, gave her this whole list of like dog beaches, dog friendly beaches, and she was like, they're just everywhere.
They are.
It's
Yeah,
so cool.
it's crazy. Yeah, it's awesome. Our dog's not too sure about it, but
Why, about the beach or the other dogs?
I know about the beach.
All right.
Well, the water specifically. He's not keen on water, but we'll get him in there.
Yeah, because it must be pretty, that journey alone, getting the pet over to Oz is also it's very expensive, but pretty emotional as well. What's your dog's name?
Loki.
So how like it would have been a period of time where you and Loki weren't attached? How was that?
It was, it was awful, because he's my baby, so I was an emotional wreck, and I'm sure he was absolutely fine. I mean, dogs don't dwell on things, do they? They just get on with it. But I was a mess, and I was following his flight, tracking his flight online and everything. And thankfully we managed to, just by the skin of our teeth, we managed to get by with 10 days quarantine instead of 30, because they changed the rules, I mean, within days of us getting our permits. So that was really good. So we weren't without him for too long.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty cool, actually, the way that how all this works and everything like that with the dogs and everything. It is hard. I think migration, Jess, it just takes time. Everything takes time, but there's those small little victories you get, if it's a skills assessment or an AQF3 or an EOI or an invite. There's those little journeys that you see people share on the DUC club, which is really good. And you sit back. I've been doing this for 13 years now, and you just think all the people. One of the people where me and reached out to me. He's been here for 10 years, and we migrated him.
Wow.
And he's only young as well.
Yeah.
So he's like, I think he's 37, James. I call him Shark Bait because he wanted to go fishing with me, and I was teasing his English blood the whole time. But anyway, and he's like saying it's like my whole, like nearly a quarter of my life I've lived here in Victoria. And he goes, it's just how happy they are. They don't know anywhere else. And I know you're starting your 9 months journey, you're 10 months and before you know it. Lisa, we did a little, we know that just this time last week, she was in a ceremony becoming a citizen.
Congratulations again, Lisa.
Oh yeah, it's huge. Like it's these steps we take in migration. It's so cool, but everything is a sacrifice, don't you reckon? Like everything's hard.
Absolutely.
But
it's really hard. That's it. Honestly, it's the hardest thing that I think we've ever done in our life, and probably will be the hardest thing we've ever done. But absolutely so worth it, And as the age-old saying goes, nothing worth having comes easily. And it's very, very true. It's a really, really tough slog, but once you're here and you kind of see the results of all your hard work, it's amazing.
I get frustrated, Jess, with those people that just, if it's too hard getting the photos, the English test is too hard. And I'm thinking, it is hard, but you will get there. And I hope these podcasts encourage people to really put in that, because it's like anything. If you want to do it, it's so easy to say, yeah, I'll do it. But when it's in front of you and you've got to make time to practice English tests and get photos and videos, and you've got the costs, and you've got to work out, do we go on a holiday this year because the kids really want a holiday, or do we save for the flights for Australia? It's all hard. Like it is so hard, but so cool.
You've got to really, really, really want it. You really have to want it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any tips you would give for people who are looking to make the move?
Well, that is one. Yeah. Make sure that you really want it. Make sure you've done your research thoroughly. And as you've just alluded to, ideally visit Australia before making the decision to move here. of course, you hear so many stories of Brits making the move over here, and within like a year, they've gone back to the UK because it's not what they thought it would be.
Yeah.
I truly feel that lots of people just assume that Australia is basically Britain, but with better weather. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You know, it's obviously very different lifestyle, different culture. And obviously we love it, but it's not for everyone.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's one thing I would say is just really make sure this is what you want, make sure you've done your research and, you know, ideally come here so you can actually experience, you know, the country before you make that decision. And also, I don't think people realize just how far away it is. I mean, we all know it's far away, but, you know, once you're actually here, you really do realize how far away you are from everything you're familiar with and, you know, your friends, family, and that can be quite a tough sort of realization to have.
Have you had it? Have you had a breakdown? Have you had that time where you're like, oh my God, I
Yeah,
miss these people. I miss that, you know, whatever. Have you had it?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think either of us have had like a massive meltdown or breakdown about it, but definitely like pangs of homesickness and missing. I don't miss the UK as such. I just miss
Things.
those familiar things. Like I miss going down to my local pub with my friends and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a tough realization, but then you've got to kind of remember why you made the decision to come, you know, to make the move in the first place. And you know, overall, we are better off here. And my other tip would be just simply be as organized as you possibly can. As we all know, it is a hard, long process, and there is so much to think about. So, you know, lots of planning, lots of checklists, lots of research. And, you know, because things that you haven't even thought of will just keep popping up along the way. So I would encourage people to, you know, take advantage, obviously, of the DUC Facebook group, ask questions, lots and lots of questions, booking calls with relocation agents, and just get as much information as you can, because it really does hit you like a freight train.
Yeah, it is perfect. What's that? Perfect preparation makes perfect and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's true. What about like, we'll come to it because, you know, you obviously assist, you've done relocation calls and assist the DUC in those areas that you live in, which is great. But
Yeah.
on a financial level, when you first came here, was it hard? Like, did you have enough cash in that to get by? Did you have to go straight into work, or were you just like off the plane into work?
We did it with the bare minimum, really. I mean, we didn't have property to sell in the UK, so it was a matter of just saving. And, you know, we had a little bit of help from family who, you know, gave us a few sort of little donations. But we really just kind of started from scratch when we got here. We really had nothing. We had maybe like a couple of grand in savings, and that was it. So, I was straight back to work. As I said before, luckily, you know, I was sort of able to get a job, excuse me, before we arrived, because I'd been freelancing for this company from the UK for a while. So I was very fortunate to have a job to walk into. But yeah, we kind of started from scratch. We didn't really have anything in the bank.
Yeah, it's good that you persisted and made it. And Jarrett, is he like painting and decorating, or is he doing something totally different?
No, he's still doing his decorating yet. He had a bit of a break just to kind of, you know, settle in and adjust to you know, our new life here and everything. And around Christmas time, actually, he started working with a local chap who's, you know, got a small painting business, and he's really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's cool. Does he, I mean, like his hours and everything like that? Well, like, you know, when does he leave? When does he come home?
Oh, see, yeah, much better. Like, I mean, he was working himself to the bone in the UK, working like 6-7 day weeks from kind of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. sometimes. It was stupid. And, you know, now he'll get up a fairly early start. So he'll leave at maybe kind of 6-ish, and, you know, to get on site and set up for kind of 7. But then he's home by about 2:30, something like that. So it's shorter days, easier days, you know, he's clocking in, clocking out, and yeah, he's a lot happier.
Yeah. So cool. I'm so happy. I remember, like, it's so weird. Like, I remember when we first chatted, like, even though it was a while ago, and now you're a bit of, you know, you're a bit of part of the DUC, but you guys are sort of those people that will go out and get things, and maybe, I don't know if it's fair to say and all that, but you guys worked hard, you know, to do it. Like you said, you weren't in a position to sell a property, so you had to save money and make those sacrifices to come here in Oz, and knuckle down and get work straight away. So you must have carried on, like were you doing did you have a little bit of work on arrival then, did you?
Yeah. So I'm a graphic designer, and I was prior to arriving in Oz, I was self-employed for 3-4 years. Well, maybe not that long, but during lockdown, basically, I decided to go self-employed. And I just kind of took the initiative and contacted a few Australian, marketing agencies and companies, and started freelancing for a couple of them remotely from the UK. And one of them, I got on really well with, and they were really happy with me. And they said, yeah, when you arrive, you've got a full-time job to come to. So, that was amazing. It was a huge weight off the shoulders to not have to worry about finding work when I got here.
Yeah, it's so cool. That's so cool. All right. Well, look, we'll bring Lisa in. Lisa is running the Relocation Agent. She likes to ask her questions as well. I like to sort of get in there a little bit about the, me, classic Wes, the emotional side and the journey. I'm still a bit of a migration geek, I guess. Jess, I absolutely love the stories, and I just think it's so, everyone's so different. And when you were doing through the process, did anything help you through the process? Like, I know you mentioned the DUC club earlier, and that was one of your tips. But was it did anything help you? Were you chatting to your friend who, when you moved to, the person you mentioned earlier, and who was living in Brisbane?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, we were always, closely in touch with her and her family anyway. But yeah, regularly talking to them. Obviously, as you say, talking to everyone else in the DUC club. And obviously you and Jenny and Mars. And do you know what? We used to just kind of surround ourselves with anything Australian. It sounds really stupid, but just kind of really get us pumped for it and keep us excited. Like just little things, like we would just kind of scour Netflix for Australian documentaries and Australian films and stuff like that, and just silly things, just to kind of immerse ourselves in, Australia, basically.
I wonder if Wolf Creek is on Netflix in the UK.
It is. Oh my God.
Is it really?
Don't
watch that, listeners. That's not what it really is about at all, but I'm just thinking out loud then.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a lot of good Aussie films on Netflix in the UK. So yeah, go and watch them, because, the Aussies do horror really well.
Yeah. And if you're scared of horror, then just listen to our podcast, because it's a bit more, it's a bit more chilled.
More family friendly.
So, Lisa, jump in.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for joining Jess. Is this your first podcast, Jess?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you sound like you've done podcasts before. You've got
a
great voice, yeah.
Well,
it's a glow of confidence you've got, Jess. We love it.
My dad was in radio, and everyone always used to say to me I had a voice for radio, so maybe it's just built into me.
I think everyone we've interviewed has been really good, I feel, confident with it, which is nice. So listeners, we do is we just have a little procedure. We book a time in. We sort of mention a few questions that the guest would like us to ask. I probably ask about 3 of them, and then just make up the rest, to be honest. Sorry about that. And then we put it together. So we're not experts in this area at all.
It's all going quite well. It's good fun.
Well, they can't turn us off. We can keep going, and then they might come back. But anyway, I'll let you legends talk a bit about the relocation side and all that.
Okay, that's cool. So, Jess, what areas do you cover as a relocation agent?
So I cover all of the Greater Brisbane suburbs north of the river. So areas which would include Paddington, Everton Hills, Chermside, Sandgate, North Lakes, Redcliffe, etc.
What's the difference between North and South Brisbane? Is there anything?
I think cost, definitely. It's a little cheaper north side than it is south side, I'm told. And I think perhaps slightly busier as well. On the south side, you're kind of close to the Gold Coast, so you kind of got 2 cities quite close to each other. North side is a bit more easygoing, I'd say.
So what's your role like as a relocation agent?
Well, it's really good fun. I really, really enjoy it. I'm a bit of a nosy Parker, and I love looking around houses. So it's kind of the ideal role for me. I actually considered a career as an estate agent when I was much, much younger. So yeah, it's great. It suits me down to a T. I get to snoop around some really nice homes. And, I'm a firm believer in, giving back and helping others through a process that, you've experienced yourself and can offer support with. So, being a home search agent is something that suits me perfectly. I really jumped at the chance to come on board when I saw that you were looking for someone for North Brisbane. And getting to meet new people is obviously a perk of it as well. You kind of have that automatic connection, really, given that, your clients are going through something exactly the same as what you went through not that long ago. So it's nice to be able to offer advice and support, let them know what to expect. And it's actually quite a good sort of new friend making opportunity in a way. Really enjoying it.
I was just going to say, have you organised or been to any of the DUC catch-ups?
I haven't as of yet. No. I know that there was one a few months back. I think that Tanya may have organised, but no, I haven't been to any yet. But I will be. I will be at the next one.
Yeah, you should organise one. I reckon they're awesome. I know Tanya did a ladies' day, which was some great photos. Everyone got dressed up on the boat, whatever they were.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll team up with Tanya and we'll organise something big together.
Yeah, they even had down under center cake. I loved it.
Yeah, awesome.
So what's it like when you successfully secure a rental, Jess?
You know what? I wasn't actually expecting like the emotion and like kind of euphoric feeling that I got when I secured my first rental. It's actually so exciting. I mean, literally, I was jumping up and down. I couldn't wait to text my clients and, tell them the good news. So it's a really good feeling. And, it's quite a big thing to help create some sort of security, for your clients, for those people. Really rewarding feeling, definitely.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
So in Brisbane, where's kind of the place where most people want to move to? Is there a place?
Yeah, there is. I would probably have to say most people want to be, or they say that they would like to be in or around North Lakes and Mango Hill, which is funny because around Brisbane, all the Aussies say that North Lakes is known as Little Britain because so many British migrants move there. And it is true. There is a huge British community in North Lakes. So I guess maybe that's why so many people have that kind of on their list of preferred suburbs, because they've obviously heard more about it than other areas. But yeah, it's a nice suburb. But I would say that, that's North Lakes and Mango Hill are the two areas that people kind of bring up most.
Are there any beaches in Brisbane, Jess?
No, there's no like natural beach in Brisbane, but there is a man-made beach kind of in the middle of the city, which is kind of cool. Really good if you've got young kids. It's a good day out. It's always pretty busy down there, but it's
free.
And it's free, and they've done it really well. Like it's really well laid out, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You're just kind of surrounded by skyscrapers, but you're at the beach. It's weird.
Yeah, I went there a few years ago with my family. I thought it was really cool. It was really warm and sunny, and it was just like, oh wow, this is like in the middle of the city, surrounded by places to eat and drink and things as well.
Yeah, it's a cool little place. Yeah.
We just go back to that place. Well, I actually met like 4 electricians there.
Really?
Talking about the gap training. Yeah, it was really weird because I was living in the UK at the time, and I was just went to the UK, flew to Queensland to have a meeting with the electoral council, and came out and have a chat, and it was just so random just to be standing there 1 minute chatting, and then the next minute you're all just swimming around.
Yeah.
So it sort of went to professional to a little bit of like, oh well, we'll just jump in our boardies and chat in the like lagoon sort of pool thing they have.
Yeah, just outside the office. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So Jess, how long does it normally take to secure a rental, would you say?
I'd probably say on average maybe 3 to 4 weeks or so. But of course, there are various factors that come into play that might affect things, depending on people's circumstances or whatever. But yeah, I'd say probably 3 to 4 weeks is about right.
Yeah, that's really useful, Jess. Thanks. So we probably need about like 6 to 8 weeks before you want somewhere to live. That's because we need to get to know you and to get all the paperwork and things off of you so that we can create all your applications.
Yeah.
And then we start the viewings like maybe 4 weeks or so before you physically want somewhere. So that's the kind of timescale that we need. And if you want the home search service, there's a link in the description. Thanks so much, Jess.
Thank you.
Yeah, good on you, Jess. And really, I'm really happy that you and Jared have made this work. You're just such good asset for Queensland and such a good asset for the DUC. It's really nice.
Oh, thanks, Wes. Thanks. And thank you guys for all your help. You know, we couldn't have done it without you.
I think that's the Mars and the Jennies. It's really cool. I seem to get lots of credit, but really it was, I have the initial chat and explain to you guys and I guess manage the expectations and keep it real, and the team just do a wonderful job of processing and
they really do. Well, all of you. Yeah, you all really know your stuff and you're all brilliant at what you do. So yeah,
we've been a team for a long time. You know, it's interesting. We don't lose staff at the DUC. We grow them. Like, it's really nice. Like, it's nice to have a good working environment when your mates back you up. It's, you know, our motto is we work for the client and we work for each other, and it seems to work.
Absolutely.
So awesome. All right, guys. Well, Jess, I wish you all the best, and we'll catch up soon. Lisa, you're a star as always, and thanks for making these podcasts happen. Guys, that was another episode of the DUC Migrating to Australia podcast. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everyone.